Hello, my marvellous sausages. Now, if you're like me and you want to get a little leg up at the start of the season, not too much so you go insane, of course, but just, a tiny amount to give yourself a bit of a boost so that the more difficult tasks that Bungie most definitely have in store for us are that little bit easier to do, and so you have more stuff to play with sooner, if you know what I mean. Personally, I like to unlock as much of the artifact as possible, because that's where all the juicy new seasonal mods are going to be that will give us really interesting builds. Here's what I'm going to be doing to make the most out of the next 2 weeks without driving myself insane and grinding too much. Now, this guide will help you get your space magic firing ducks all in a line and ready for the Witch Queen. First off, let's talk about bounties. Hooray! Not the chocolate bars, but these little square things, Now, you can store quite a few of these on each character, and of course it's possible to fill your grid up completely with these bounties, but I would advise you to leave some space just in case a new quest requires a bounty completion of a certain kind. Then you won't have the holes for it, will you? There are other few things to keep in mind as well. All seasonal activities, so that's anything from Season of the Hunt, Splicer, Chosen, and Lost, they're all sodding off completely, as well as the Tangled Shore and Forsaken. The only thing that's remaining is the Battlegrounds activity. So don't keep any bounties related to do with any of those. If you've got them now, cash them in. They're completely useless now, really. Next, before you cash any bounties in on the new season and in the Witch Queen, make sure you run the season's opening quests so you can get the seasonal artifact. Otherwise, you won't be able to unlock any of it if you haven't got it, will you? And it'll be a really annoying, massive waste of time. So make sure you do that. Plus, of course, you're going to get a nice fat wad of XP from doing that too. So, first of all, make sure you've got the artifact ready to be upgraded. Next, check on your ghost, because most of us, if you want an XP gain in the last few seasons, we've had this Blinding Light mod, which gives a 12% XP increase, but it's being removed at the end of Season 15. So Season 16, it'll completely disappear, and that might mean that your slot is empty. So make sure you stick in one of the highest XP increase mods that you can. In this case, it's called Guiding Light, which gives you 10% XP increase. Make sure that's in before you turn in, not to bed. And if you're able to, when you're turning bounties in, make sure you do it in a fire team, because that will give you an XP boost too. Now, the season pass also gives you XP boosts in little increments along the bottom there, but of course they can take ages to unlock all those nodes, so personally I'm not really worrying about that. Once I've got the artifact, I'm going to start turning these in so I can get some XP and unlock some of the new mods and stuff. Right, let's talk about the actual bounties themselves. Now, first of all, we got the weekly bounties. These are the best ones to collect. They're 12,000 XP each, and these are obviously the ones that you want to try and hoard as many as you can. Now remember, weeklies you can only do once on each character. So what we've got Shohan in the Cosmodrome, he's got 2 weeklies there. Then Old Forearms is on Europa, that's Old Varix, he'll give you 2 weeklies. Hawthorne has a nice wodge of weekly bounties, but of course all of these require you to complete them when you're within a clan and with clanmates. So if you're a solo player, you're a tad buggered there, so don't worry too much about that one. And then of course you've got Lord Saladin Ironed Banner bounties. Now these are all weeklies, and they will carry over to the Witch Queen according to multiple sources. I mean, there's not a definite, but 99% sure these will continue on. Now we've got one last Iron Banana that's going live the last week of the season, so that's going to give you a nice chance to get some of these done. If you want to do them on all 3 characters, that's entirely up to you, but just do as many as you can. Of course, if you can't abide PvP, then I don't blame you for not bothering. Next, we've got Star Horse, the stuff for the Dares of Eternity and Zer's Treasure Hoard. Now, Star Horse gives you 1 weekly bounty, so you can grab that, but you may want to use that beforehand. I shall cover that in a moment, because it's all to do with these Paraversal Hauls, you see. But let's just carry on with the bounties, and then we'll talk about that. So, if you manage to grab these bounties with the 2 weeks that's left, And if you can't do the ones in the clan or Iron Banner, this is the base you can do. That means you're going to be doing 9 weekly bounties. And over 2 weeks, that's 18. So that's 18 bounties. And then over 3 characters, that's 54 weekly bounties. So that's 648,000 XP. Not to be sniffed at. Not bad at all. Now remember, if you do manage Saladin's 4 as well, that's another great boost as well. What's that going to be? An extra 48,000. That's bloody marvellous. Of course, we can only do 1 batch of those because it's only for 1 week. Next, we've got the daily bounties. Now, these are 6,000 each, so just fill your boots with these. Really, as many as you like. But like I said, make sure to keep a couple of slots free. And if you do want to do the repeatable bounties, they only give 4,000 XP. So those are the ones that are kind of last on the list. Now, these are the bounties you don't want to do. I've already mentioned don't do any of the seasonal ones, but I wouldn't grab any gunsmith bounties or any gambit bounties because there's going to be a rework for both of those things, and you never know, the bounties that you actually pick up and complete might be ejected out of the game, so I just steer clear of those 2 babies. So those are going to be your main sources of XP. But like I say, Bungie has been pretty tight-lipped about bounty hoarding, so there may be some changes when the Witch Queen drops, but this is as good a guess as any, governors. Right, now back to the Paraversal Hauls, you know, the things that you get from that weird horse made of stars. Now these are the rewards you can get from the bounties from Star Horse, or you can buy them for 7 strange coins. Now they drop exotic gear, legendary gear, strange coins, and treasure keys. Now, of course, the legendary gear is going to come from the world loot pool. Now, as this will be changing in Witch Queen, this makes these boxes very valuable, because new weapons will have a chance to drop with a new thing called traits, which is all to do with weapon crafting and acquiring perks to use on different weapons. But let me explain using Bungie's words here so I don't cock this up, okay? And I quote, "After reaching the Enclave and crafting your first glaive, randomly rolled weapons throughout the game have a chance to drop with a new ability called Deep Sight Resonance. This will be used as you begin to target specific traits to craft. As an example, if you find a Deep Sight Resonance legendary auto rifle with a Rampage perk, you can complete an objective and extract the essence of the perk to then craft a weapon with Rampage or another perk that does increased damage. So by keeping these Paraversal Hauls and not cashing them in, you'll have a source of weapons dropping with the ability to extract traits from. And remember, you can also get the treasure keys as well from these Paraversal Hauls. You can get 1, 2, or 3 actually dropping from them, so it makes sense to spend all of your strange coins on these Paraversal Hauls rather than buying the treasure keys. It just makes a bit more sense to do it that way. And then you can open the Dares chests, you know, the normal chest, to get the weapons that are from the Dares loot pool. Although I don't know if these weapons will drop with the new traits. We'll have to wait and see. They probably will, because it says all new legendary weapons. But then again, I'm just making it up. I mean, who bloody knows, eh? Now, people have also been talking about these Paraversal Haul boxes giving XP as well. And I thought, ooh, that's interesting. So I did a test. I made a note of my XP on my season pass, and then I cashed in a Paraversal Haul and then went back and checked my XP level, and it didn't move at all. So no, you don't get XP from opening these boxes. I don't know where that came from, but you don't. Just to check, I just cashed in a daily bounty to make sure, went back, and the bar had moved. So there we go. Paraversal Haul don't give you XP unless it's something that I'm completely unaware of. But what they will do is really help you get to the soft cap really quick. Because when Witch Queen starts, every single player, that's all of us, will all be pushed up to 1350. And that will be the floor level of power. Then the next level we're going to have is 1500, so we're going to be all struggling to get to that 1500, but these Dares of Eternity things and these Paraversal Hauls will help you get to that 1500 a lot quicker. And then we've got the power cap, which is 1550, and then you've got the pinnacle cap, which is 1560. Yeah, so these are all going to help you get to that 1500 rather sharpish. So you've got a choice really with the Star Horse weekly bounty. You can either keep it, and that will prevent you from getting other weekly bounties, so you're going to be stuffed but you will get the XP at the beginning of the next season, or you can cash it in to get another Paraversal Haul. Personally, I'm going to be cashing them in before the Witch Queen to get as many of these Paraversal Haul boxes as possible, because, you know, there'll be plenty more raw materials to do when we get the weapon crafting. Now, of course, Bungie may decide to wipe all these Paraversal Hauls out before the season rolls over. But because the activity is remaining, Dares of Eternity is going to be here pretty much all year as far as we know, then I dare say the Paraversal Haul boxes will be staying as well. They'd piss off quite a few people if they did that, wouldn't they? Next, let's talk about resources. And of course, you want to get as many of these as you can, because you'll be spending resources bloody willy-nilly come Witch Queen. So of course, you can use your ghost mods to enhance scavenging amounts that you're going to get when you open up chests and you collect items and complete patrols on planet, because you've got something called Bountiful Harvest, which increases the amount of materials that you get. You can also go and buy them from Spider as well, checking him after each daily reset, because if you've got shed loads of legendary shards, it's well worth cashing them in, or you can buy the actual planetary materials and cash them in for Glimmer. It's entirely up to you, but that is there for you to use. Next, you want to clean your vault. Now, this will give you legendary shards, Glimmer, weapon parts, and enhancement cores, and plus, you know, a clean out before the big DLC is always good for the soul, isn't it? Step in with a shiny, empty vault. None of you are going to do it. You're all going to keep all your stuff like I am. But there we go. I got to tell you, it's the most sensible thing to do, yes? Don't forget, Banshee's going over to the new reputation system, so you want to get rid of your weapons parts and your weapon telemetries too, and dismantle anything that you don't want from him for your resources. And don't forget, you need to take a look at your seasonal challenges as well. Now, I'm not too concerned about the XP, because XP is pretty much wasted at this point, anything that you're cashing in, because like I say, we're all going to be brought up to 1350. But what you want to look for are any seasonal challenges that give Bright Dust as rewards, so you can stock up on them where you can. And also, don't forget, on each reset in the Eververse, to collect your free 700 Bright Dust from the top page. 2 more of those to come, because when the Witch Queen starts, that's the end of them. How are we all doing with Marvellous Sausages? Yes, we're getting there. Just a couple of more topics. Next one is storing Glimmer. Now, this is something that I've never done, really, because I thought, why would you do this? But of course, it's a really good idea, because you've got your Glimmer amount that you can hold, but then you can have some of this stuff in reserve that you can pull from your reserves whenever you need it, if you're in the middle of upgrading and you don't want to have to run off and bloody, you know, do some strikes or do this or do that to earn the Glimmer. You've just got it there in a different form. So what you need to do is you can store stuff from your collections in your vault and then cash them in when you need them. Yeah, so some items are way better to store than others. So for example, Zavala's Authority ship you can buy from your collections. Buy as many of them as you like, stick them in your vault. They're 7,500 Glimmer each and 5 legendary shards. And when you dismantle them, you'll get back all 5 of the legendary shards, which is good, and 5,000 Glimmer. Now you might think, what? That's what? I'm losing 2.5 grand there. But it's really efficient way to store your Glimmer, and in fact the best way, because you could buy other things and you won't get as much of a return. I did try a different ship, and I think I got half of my legendary shards back, and I lost about 4 grand in Glimmer. Now, there are certain items as well that do this. There's ones like the Other Side Sparrow and the G335 and Ceres Sparrow as well. They give you the same return. Now, I do have every intention in doing this because it will become so handy. But what will probably happen is that I'll totally forget as I'm trying just to get bounties and start shouting and screaming and going, bloody hell, why didn't I do it? So, yes, I'd advise you, if you've got the space and you've got the patience and you've got the time and you want to store some Glimmer, do this. Now, linking into this, there's a website which I think is quite brilliant. I only started using it the last month or so. It's called Destiny Recipes. I shall stick a link in the description. And it's got a pre-seasonal checklist there to show you how far behind you are in everything that you're doing. It'll show you how many resources you're doing. It'll show you, it'll give you a score for that. But it does give you a really good at-a-glance format, so you can see exactly what you have left to do and what areas you're lacking in. Like me, I'm lacking in almost every area, which is why I'm making this very useful sausage guide. That's not a guide to sausages. So Destiny Recipes, check it out, it's very good. Right, so that's all the advice I have for getting yourself ready for the Witch Queen. If you've got any tips that you use that I haven't mentioned, please leave a note in the comments so we can all see and we can all absorb the knowledge through some sort of sausage osmosis. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it? Anyway, but that's me. In the meantime, give me a like and a subscribe if you did enjoy it. And like I said, leave me a comment as well. That would be utterly fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Sausage out.